What is up, everybody? If you missed my first video today, I am in my car because a huge storm came through Dallas. Power is out. The internet's finally working, but nothing else works in my house. The power is out. Can't turn my lights on. Can't turn the camera on. So I am filming on my phone. If you're just wondering why the heck is he just sitting in his car, that's the situation we have going on here today. Luckily in Dallas, the weather's gone to like the mid 80s, so it's still bearable inside. Luckily it's not 97 like it was a few days ago with the power out, because that's tough in Texas. But anyways, that is why we are where we are today. So Tom Brady a few days ago was on Colin Cowherd's show, and there was an interesting part of the show where he's talking about young quarterbacks and basically what he thinks when it comes to the best situation for young quarterbacks, what you really need to have around those guys to really have the best chance of success. And he brings up Jordan Love as an example. And so I want to read this quote because I think that when you look at teams around the NFL, every team is trying to find that quarterback, find that guy, and build their team in a way that they're able to be successful and find continued success as time goes by. And not many teams are able to do it. There's few and far between who have been able to keep the streak of top tier quarterbacks alive, like the Green Bay Packers. And so here is what Tom Brady had to say. He said this: "You could be very physically talented. You could absolutely go to the wrong fit and have a coach instruct you to do things that are almost impossible to do. You can't assume that what these young athletes are being told, that every coach is the same. Some coach may have one perspective, another coach may have another perspective. So why was I fortunate? Because I came into the Patriots when Bill Belichick was there. He's the one that helped develop me. Charlie Weiss was there. He helped develop me later in my career. Josh McDaniels was there. He helped develop me. I could not be the player I was without people like that impacting my career. I was without people like that." Sorry, just reread that part. "My first year, I had Drew Bledsoe to look up to. He took all the reps. I got to sit there from behind and watch him every single day. I had a real mentor to look up to in Drew. Some of these teams," and you look at Jordan Love, who I was watching some of those clips that you had on before I came on, he had Aaron Rodgers to watch. That's the best type of training, in my opinion. Watch someone else do it at a very high level and then try to emulate them with your own personality. Maybe a little bit of the misnomer of the draft is that these players can come in and all of a sudden become their great professional player before they really had the training and the development." And so I think we've discussed, of course, with Jordan Love, the question was when he came in, can the Packers actually hit on a third straight quarterback? It seemed almost too good to be true. It almost seemed like the odds were stacked against the Packers to find another successful QB in Jordan Love. And that's why I think that when you looked around lots of sports media, lots of people sort of doubting Jordan Love, sort of not really believing the Packers could do it. And I think from an odds perspective, it's like, yeah, what are the odds that Jordan Love is even anywhere near the level of quarterback as Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers? I understand why you would think that, and deep down I'm like, that does sound tough to get to that point, to have another guy of that caliber. And I was just hoping that Jordan Love could be a solid quarterback. To expect him to be like Aaron Rodgers, it's a lot of pressure to put on a guy. But now we've seen what Jordan Love can be, and honestly, he has that ability. He has Aaron Rodgers type upside and ability. And we saw him do that in his first season, doing what Aaron Rodgers couldn't even do, getting to the playoffs in his first year starting with the Green Bay Packers. And it just makes you wonder, as Tom Brady was talking about that, you need to be in the right situation. Tom Brady had Belichick. He said he had Drew Bledsoe to look up to. And it really just makes you wonder, how many these little small factors that may seem insignificant at times really lead to certain players being successful, other players not being successful. For example, what if Jordan Love was drafted, much higher in the draft to a team that just overall wasn't built in a way that would allow him to be successful early in his career? You look at a guy like Bryce Young with the Panthers last year, being drafted number 1 overall, and he had a really tough first season. And with Bryce Young, he goes into the Panthers, which was one of the worst teams in the NFL, and there's so many things not going right around him. He also was struggling, but so many things around him not going right. They move on from one player caller to the other about midway through the season. And now you look at entering his second season, they bring in a new head coach in Dave Canales, and he's a new play caller. So that's now Bryce Young's third play caller, and he's only been in the league for one season. You look at Jordan Love, He gets to go into Green Bay. The Packers, of course, were having a ton of success with Aaron Rodgers. Matt LaFleur was already there. So Jordan Love develops behind Rodgers, as we all know, learns everything, or learns a lot from Aaron Rodgers, which is probably one of the best quarterbacks ever to be able to sit behind and pick up those tendencies, things like that. But then not only that, the fact that Jordan Love wasn't having to bounce around from one offensive coordinator to another, one play caller to another. And that's, I think, why so many of these young quarterbacks bust, is because they go into bad situations. They play their first season and the play caller isn't great. They have to move on to another one in their second year. And that sort of just holds them back from growing, where you have these other quarterbacks who get to have the same play caller year after year after year. They're not having to learn new systems. And so Jordan Love was put in literally the best quarterback situation possible, which I think most people understand that if you're going to be successful, the situation that Jordan Love was put into is probably one of the best possible scenarios you could imagine if you're a quarterback. And I know many quarterbacks probably don't want to sit for 3 years. They probably want to get started and start playing right away, because if you're used to playing all the time, being a starter in college, to then have to go and be Jordan Love and sit for 3 seasons just like Rodgers did, I would imagine you get to that point where you're like, man, am I ever going to get to play? And for both Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, the patience paid off. They're able to find success. And I just think so much of the NFL is down to the situation you're put into, and so many quarterbacks drafted number one don't end up being successful. They don't reach that level that many people thought they would. And there's lots of factors, coaching, situation, lots of stuff like that. And sometimes it's better, clearly, if you're drafted later in the first round, like both Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love were. And Tom Brady really seems to put a lot of his success on the fact that he was with Belichick. And, you wonder, if Brady would have been drafted anywhere else, would we even be talking about Tom Brady today? There's a good question there, and I do think that he has that mindset that wherever he was, I think he would have tried to push through it. But opportunity and situation, it's so important in the NFL. And Brady got his chance, with those injuries early, or injuries to Bledsoe early in his career. And Jordan Love, had that ability and got the opportunity. And so far, things seem to be going great. So that is all I wanted to share today. If you want more Packers content like this, feel free to subscribe down below. Hopefully, I'll be back inside soon. Hopefully, I'll have some air conditioning soon, because it's pretty hot here today in Dallas. It's a mild day, like 84 degrees, which is like nothing in Dallas for the summer. But I'm hoping that the AC comes back on soon. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.